Okay, yeah, see? Okay, we're here, and this is a random Rogue Sunday, MG Rogue Sunday broadcast. I don't know how many people we'll have watching, but it doesn't matter. We're going to hang out. So, welcome to Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. How's everything with you, TJ?
Things are going all right. Just been working on house projects.
Cool. So you did show me before
Yeah,
we
if you can
started to
look
show me the
up,
room.
I've been installing bookshelves.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons why I decided to do that.
one of the reasons was this is what it looked like at my old house. So I'm kind of replicating this feel. The other one is it's a lot more efficient with the space. Should probably set that right. The other reason is because where I was going to put the bookshelf, my grandparents are giving me it's a massive electric fireplace.
Oh,
Like
cool.
it's huge. It's like the size of a real one. And this is where you got to compromise in life. My ideal study would have its own little fireplace. And that's just not going to happen at this house. But having a fireplace in my little work office area is probably the next best thing that's going to happen. And I'm getting it for free. Oh, God, sorry. This thing is. There we go. Oh, I don't want you guys to miss Bogart. He's in the background.
That dirty son of a bitch.
Oh, no. That mug. Yeah, so I'll have the fireplace back here. I might actually have it going on during our live streams or whatever, just to create the movie. The thing is,
cool.
the where I got to watch out is the thing is, it was in their condo. It's designed to like heat a place up. It's like it's for aesthetics, but it is designed to heat up an entire condo size place. So I got to make sure the temperature is not turned up too much. But that's why I was doing I'm actually with the bookshelves. I'm actually gonna make my own bookshelf ladder, so I can just climb up and I don't have to pull out a chair or whatever. I had a couple of. I'm not going to do it for this podcast, just because they're out in the garage and I don't want to grab them. But I just got possession of my great grandfather's wooden gun stocks that he made, and he did all these cool carvings and all this cool stuff that I'm hoping to make hunting shotguns from. But I used a stain that's called gun stock for these, and I looked at it. It's like I don't really want to do that with these pieces that my great grandfather did, because they look so cool and they haven't been touched in like 60 years. So I just want to stain them and keep them as they are, like get some Danish oil or whatever it is and look the way it is. But my hope is to make a hunting shotgun out of at least one of them, because he finished a couple of them. A couple of them, I don't think he finished fully. They might just be good, like, antique pieces to have on display in the house or somewhere else.
How old are they?
My other thought is if I ever, if I ever get married and have kids, my thought is because there's like 4 or 5 of them. I don't think I'm going to have that big of a litter. But my thought is like when they turn 18, you give them each a gun. It's kind of, your great-great-grandfather made this, like it's part of the family.
Why wait till 18? Maybe when they're 14.
Well, you can do that. I think the funny thing is, my dad bought me, my brother, he bought me and my brother this Ruger rifle. Like, we're talking decades ago, like in the late 90s. And my mom was like not interested in giving. She was like, I don't think you should give the kids these. They were 22s, but they were cool ones. So he had them in like storage for years. I went out and bought the same one for 3 times the price, 20 years later. And he's like, oh, I totally forgot that I bought these for you as Christmas presents when you were like 16 years old. I was like, that'd have been good to know.
That was what, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was the Ruger 1022, which is, in my opinion, the best 22 rifle that's ever been made. I love it. And he bought those for me and my brother, and he just for Christmas, and it didn't end up happening. But that's kind of my thought is, you have the guns and you give them each to one of the kids as like kind of like a legacy, my legacy thing. You say,
Legacy.
well, it kind of reminds me, not the greatest movie in the world, but I enjoyed it. But the movie Troy, where what's his name? Paris gives the sword of Troy to, I think it's Aeneas or whoever it is. The one,
I forget.
Right, but he's giving it to the guy who's going to found the city of Rome, because that's what happens in the Aeneid that was the poem that Virgil wrote.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like passing on the torch. So that's kind of how I see it. Like you pass on the torch, you give a rifle, to one of the kids. It's it's a meaningful thing and it's sentimental.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with that. That's pretty cool. So what else do you have planned for the house? Like what's next on the list after that room?
Well, so it's an original 1930s house. And when I say original, I mean the floor's original, the walls are original, the air vents are original, the kitchen has the original cast iron porcelain covered kitchen sink. There's there's the ironing board in the kitchen that comes down.
That comes down off the wall? Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it has a little it's a well-designed house upstairs. The downstairs is a basement that's not really they did drywalling and they did some ceiling stuff, but they didn't do the wiring and they didn't fully finish. So my thought is, depending on how much money I want to spend and how motivated I am, my thought is the ideal house, you have the 30s aesthetics upstairs, but when you want to go, and it kind of has like that time capsule, time machine thing where you go down the basement, because there's a basement stairway that I got to finish, and you go down there and it's like everything down there is modern. And like, so, it's the upstairs is the 30s, but if you want the 80s, you go downstairs. So all the 80s stuffs would be like, you got a big screen TV or whatever. Upstairs, you have the old time radio stuff playing, and it kind of has that dichotomy that makes sense. That was kind of my thought for the house. I thought that would be a good sell if you could have like all the modern stuff downstairs, and it's because it's huge. It's about the size of the house downstairs. So if you have all that, it would be a massive. You could have an entire like gaming tournament down in my basement. Like you could have easily 50 people down there.
Say the word. It's where we do our stuff there. That's awesome. Cool. I like it.
So that's the plan. I don't know. The next step would be to get the vinyl flooring down there, because the nice thing is it's been waterproofed, and I didn't have to deal with this back in my old place, but in certain homes they have what's called a sump pump, and that's where it's a pump that pumps water away from your basement because all the water drains down there. The house I grew up in had a sump pump. I didn't know this at the time,
or one of those old French drains.
Well, that's what they have. They have drains on the sides, and then it goes into the sump pump. The pump pumps it out, all that kind of stuff, and that's all been taken care of. And the pump even has, this is what's kind of cool about my house. It has like a detector system where if it stops working, the detector goes off. It makes noise and all that kind of stuff. And the system is hooked up to the house power, but if the power goes out, it has a battery. So it's like constantly set up for, make sure that your basement doesn't get flooded and all that kind of stuff. So that's cool. And I'm working on the drainage stuff outside. But I really want to do a modern downstairs. And so my house is natural gas. There's a downstairs natural gas stove. I've decided I'm not going to move that. The upstairs natural gas stove, at some point, I want to do a wood stove just because it's my preference. But right now it's hard to justify moving it. It warms up the place immediately. There's doors for every entry to the living room, so it heats up. You can close it and it heats up really, really fast. And it uses outside air to draw in. So it heats up the room within a couple minutes. Like you get, I get uncomfortably warm sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Stuff. Yeah. And so it's like, and then I'm looking at some of the wood stoves I would buy, and they're like $1,000 or $1,500. It's like, I'm not going to spend that much money, on natural gas. So, somebody wants to give me an insert stove for free just because I don't want to get rid of it. It's like, fine. Right. I don't want to deal with that. The downstairs one, I'm going to just leave. It's, natural gas is one of those things I don't like dealing with, or I don't want to say tampering with or messing with.
No, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
To leave that alone.
Yeah. So I'm going to modernize it when I get enough money, which, that's kind of the big thing. The other thing I got to deal with is the trains that come by.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, the train is like 200 feet away.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it gets pretty loud and it shakes the place. So.
Yeah, I used to live in a house, a condo. How do I get the girls? I used to live in a condo by a. Go ahead. Well, I used to live right. I used to live in a condo by a freight rail line. It used to come by every night in the early evening, and it was slow, but it would just vibrate the house a lot. You could tell it was coming. It's kind of cool, and I was like 50 feet away from it.
Yeah, I'm probably. I mean, if I got the money, which we're talking, I'd have to be making good money because my thought is to put up a sound barrier wall in the back of the house, so to kind of block out the noise. It's funny when you've been on our railroad line long enough, who the conductors are, or sorry, the engineers are, because some of them they do it really quietly and they do it very softly. Other guys are just like, like.
Yeah, they lay into that horn like.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. It's like, guys, nobody is going to be on that crossing at 3 a.m. in the morning, and also it's blocked. Like you don't have to worry about that a whole lot. So, and I've spent the last couple of years in front of or near a railroad crossing. So, and it wasn't too bad. Like it was it was far enough away, but also the engineers I think were friendly enough to where they realized like we're going through a residential area and people are pretty smart about that stuff. Some of these guys are just, in my opinion, they're just jackasses. Like they think, well, no, they're just like, there's no reason to be blowing the whistle that loud at this crossing at this time in the morning because nobody's going to be there.
Yeah. It may be standard operating procedure, but like I said, you don't have to lay into the horn like there's it's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh shit. We have some people in the chat. What's up, Bacon? Andrew, Competent Man, Doc.
I got Doc. Safety Doc sent me. This was a couple of years ago, but he sent me some cast iron, little mini cast iron. Skillets and tobacco
omelets.
Yeah. So I've got those displayed in my breakfast nook, which that's what I love about my house is stuff like that. I can put it up on display and it fits with the decor. Whereas other houses that are more modern, you can't. Trying to show antiques, you got to put it in like specific areas.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's true.
Really, yeah. Like what's funny is like there was these two shelves, there are two like shelf areas that perfectly fit the tins and the skillets. So yeah, it was cool. I liked it. I liked how, everything, I feel like a house, I have people I know that who they really don't decorate their houses that much. They're very minimalistic. And I always feel like a house's soul and spirit is in the stuff that's inside of it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So people go in and because it helps people get to know you as a person. You go in and like, oh, this guy's got a bunch of antiques on display. Like he cares about this stuff. They come into my work office if I allow them to, and they see a bunch of, stuff on display here, which you can't see because they're behind you. But that's the way you get to know people.
Yeah. No, that's true. It speaks to your character and your hobbies, your likes, your dislikes. It's a little external piece of the internal world of TJ.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm suspicious of someone whose house I go to and they have a lot of generic stuff around.
Or if it's very sterile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a very cheap Merlot Cabernet.
Okay. Is it good?
It's $2 chuck, so it's. I mean.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Well, is it? Do you like it?
It's good. Okay, so there is a cocktail that I have made that everybody's got to know about because I've triangulation. Enough people have loved it to where I can say it is good. Get the doubloons, black spiced rum, and get McFuddy's if you can. It's a
McFuddy's black spiced rum.
No. Doubloon, black spiced rum.
Okay.
McFuddy's, which is a pepper soda. It's basically like what Dr. Pepper was before Dr. Pepper existed. You mix those together. It's the best mixed well drink you'll ever have. I brought it over to a buddy's house last night. We were hanging out and watching a movie. He and his wife went through both bottles of soda with the rum.
Oh shit! What are they, Aaron Clary?
I'll bring the rum. I don't have the sodas, but I'll bring the rum. 1 second.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Kind of sounds like a dark and stormy, but I guess that's with ginger beer. So I have to come up with a new name. But we'll leave that to TJ since he created that. That's his concoction. I'm just drinking a Not Your Father's. They used to have a really cool label, and then I think they cucked themselves, and they came up with this generic piece of shit label. More footsteps. There he goes.
So this is doubloon. It is.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It's the best rum for its price.
Okay, what's it go at?
I buy it for $10.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's criminally cheap.
And it's as good as Kraken as far as mixing is concerned. So
very cool.
So of course I'm making some eggnog.
Eggnog is fucking awesome.
I usually mix
eggnog. I'm a huge endorser of both eggnog and fruitcake. If you don't like that, go fuck yourself. I don't care.
So eggnog
for holidays.
The way to mix it is you get Christian Brothers brandy. You get some of this type rum. Like you want certain types of rum or liquor it's low price, but it's good quality.
Yeah.
And this is one of those. Like I don't wake up feeling like I just drank arsenic or something like that.
You can usually get those really good rums and gins and things like that if you go to like a local distillery.
Right.
And they're usually reasonable.
Right. And then Christian Brothers brandy
not eggnog fruitcake. Homeschool. Two separate things. Yeah. Not at the same time though. I guess you could. Eggnog over here and then fruitcake over here.
Right. So you get, and what I usually get.
We're not talking about Aaron Clary as fruitcake. That's a different kind of fruitcake.
So the other thing I look out for with eggnog, and this is just me, I don't buy any eggnog that has high fructose corn syrup.
Correct.
I buy the original homemade stuff, and if I could make my own, I'm probably gonna try to make my own homemade eggnog at some point. But so yeah, this is a great rum, but you get McFuddy's. Trust me when I say it's a Dr. Pepper, but it's better than Dr. Pepper.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's great, and it goes great with rum. But a good eggnog, you can get some decent whiskey. This is a nice thing about a cocktail mix like this. It doesn't have to be top shelf stuff. But you can I do Christian Brothers brandy with some doubloon, and then maybe kind of a lower shelf whiskey that's not terribly expensive. Rebel Yell has actually been a good good bourbon whiskey. It's never done me wrong.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
So it's really a question of how expensive it is. But yeah, that's this is by far the best rum. Again, I'm not advertising this for them, but like
it's the unofficial Masco and Geek rum for the evening. Doc, I sent you a link. Go check your Twitter DMs.
What was the one with the British Navy one?
Pussers?
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, that is infinitely higher quality than doubloon.
I can get that for $26.
Yeah, it was very smooth. You can drink it by itself. I don't know about. I've never drunk doubloon by itself.
Okay. Cool. Now I'll make sure I get our cigars and our rum for the upcoming trip.
Oh yeah, I gotta pay the bed and breakfast people.
What bed and breakfast people?
I have to do the other payment.
Well, I sent you the entire portion of.
Yeah, I know you did. I just
dirty bitch.
I gotta do that. I'll probably have to do that tonight. Anyways, yeah,
it's coming up.
It's crazy. The trip is coming up. It's gonna be
2 weeks.
Holy.
And I won't be the whole week. I'll be there like Tuesday or Wednesday.
By the way, yes, I know. Oh, it's funny you say. Oh, I'm looking at the Twitter sphere. Oatmeal, you said, is wet bread. I like bread. So
I'm not. It's sort of. I'm being facetious. I love bread. I limit my intake of it, just because it messes with my hiatal hernia. So I eat it very very sparingly.
Yeah.
And I will occasionally eat oatmeal, but it's very very rare.
I was at the store today. I read too much about the chain supply issue stuff, so I was like, I should probably stock up.
We're not experiencing any chain supply here on the East Coast because we have ports and local farmers, and it's different on the East Coast than I think out Midwest and on the West Coast, because the West Coast sucks balls.
Well, I don't think we're dealing with that either, because there's some things where there's a shortage, but I was like, okay. But I was getting oatmeal, and then I was getting the Irish oatmeal, because that's just my heritage in some ways. And
gotcha. Yeah, no, that I like I said, I'm not. I'm facetiously disparaging it. I still occasionally eat oatmeal. It's just very very rare. I'm not going to sit there and eat it every day. When I was a kid, I had it more often than I do now.
Yeah.
We're experiencing inflation over here nationwide, obviously, but as far as shortages now, and I get a lot of my meat from local butchers and
I got a pot roast now.
So.
Right now.
Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about that too. So you were doing the pot roast crock pot, and I was doing the chili tonight.
Yeah. So what I do is I get the seasoning, I get the beef broth, I get it was a buy one get one free for pot roast,
TJ.
And then I get some carrots, celery. I forgot to put the onions in. Oh well.
That's right.
Say they'll be. I'm gonna got the carrots, celery. I get golden potatoes, and then obviously the meat, and then I just put it in beef broth and let it, simmer for a couple hours. I really don't do much else, because the nice thing about it is you don't have to really do anything.
No, it percolates and simmers in its own juice.
Yeah, yeah. And now I've done that with pork. I did it for years with pork because it was a lot cheaper. I mean, I could get 8 pounds of pork for a third of what the pot roast would cost. Like it was pork is just so much cheaper. So I was like, I'll just do that with that, and then you drain out all. I just remember when You know, when you eat that stuff exclusively for a while, you got to watch out because, you know, starts seeping out your pores almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
All that beef, all that just meat.
It's like Indian people with fucking curry.
Dude, I was in an apartment years ago where my neighbors were Indians, and the casino, not the casino, the gas station people, not the casinos. And they would cook curry so strong it set off the fire alarm on a weekly basis. No joke. So me and this a couple of
it's the fucking oil.
What was funny is me, like, it was kind of, this is what was funny. We would all pile out. My section of the apartment complex was me, a couple of white people, these black people, and these Mexicans. And we're sitting there and kind of like, we know who's responsible.
There's a joke somewhere in there. It's a setup for a joke.
We're all sitting there like thinking, hey, like, finally we're like, I can't remember who it was. I think it was the Mexican guy. He's like, yeah, I cook. Why does my fire alarm not go off? I'm like,
I know, right?
I'm like,
it's
I
funny.
don't know.
They use. I don't know. They must use the downstairs neighbor of mine. He's Indian. He's cool. But I was busting on him because he'll do the curry and all that shit. He's a good cook though. And he was bringing in the train. Yeah.
All right. This is the normal guy. It's like, oh, I'm in a quiet neighborhood. See, you didn't barely hear it. As opposed to other guys where it's like, nuclear explosion.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, like I was saying, he was coming in with his groceries, and he had this jug in his one hand, and it was fucking Wesson oil. I'm like, dude, really? Wesson oil? Come on. Fucking seed oils. He's like, well, I got to get something. Well, get fucking olive oil, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh no, if you're Italian, the Italian in me says olive oil for every. Hey Doc, how's it going?
Olive oil or fucking butter for everything.
Good.
Fucking Wesson.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Doc? So you have a story for us?
I do. Yeah.
Excellent.
So for the second time in the last month, I have received a free pair of shoes.
A free pair of shoes.
So get this. So 2 different companies I ordered from, and they never showed up, right? So then contact. It's in serial, right? It's one company, and then it's another company. It's not concurrent, but anyway, I get a hold of this company. I'm like, where are the shoes? Like, do you have a tracking number or stuff like that? They're like, we don't know where they are. So if they arrive, they're yours. I'm like, so it's weird, right? Because it seems that if they arrive, like, I should have to pay for them. And sure enough, like 2 days later, they show up, and I got back to them, and I'm like, it's an expensive pair of running shoes, right? And they're like, it's yours. We've already cleared it off. It's on our so I ordered from another company 2 weeks ago, a different pair of shoes, same thing. And I'm like, do you know where they are? Because like my tracking, I can't identify where they're at. And they're like, yeah, we don't know. So we're going to send you out another pair. I'm like, whoa, we can give it more time. I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm just asking because I can't track these things. Right. They're like, no, if they show up, they're yours. And same deal, right? So, they refund the money, and then the shoes arrive. And so like really $300 worth of shoes for free. But I also I'm thinking of this, and I'm like, this is just so messed up, right? I mean, it's just weird. It's weird to reconcile, and to call back and say, hey, you can charge my credit card for these if they arrived. They're like, no, don't worry about it. Well, you're good.
That's good customer service.
Yeah, I had that happen a couple times where I made a minor correction on an order. This was back in college. I did an order for something, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to send you it for free. We're going to send you a new one for free." Like, you don't have to do that. Like, right. I can pay for it. And I'm like, no. You're like, we're sending you for free. We're sorry that you were like whatever it was, and it wasn't even their fault. I'm like, no. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird feeling. So, but anyway, so that was my shoe story.
Cool.
But
that can't be it though. You have some more stories.
can't give.
Doc has got great stories.
Yeah. So with my book, so the velocity of information is coming out on tax day, right? So that's I don't know why, but my publisher's like April 15th, Friday, your book is releasing. I'm like, what the hell is that all about? So
That's weird.
yeah, they're thinking like big refund this year and probably like an H&R box. You can check the box, and then you can get my book sent to you as part of your refund. So so I've been trying. So it's this thing of it gets passed on to the team, and I'm familiar with this because I worked with the publisher before. So it's like here's the marketing team, here's the typeset team, and all this stuff, artwork. And then of course it's like any questions, like we'll immediately get back to you if you have anything. And so one of my Juan Brown, who I interviewed, and who has the pilot who was at the Orville Dam stuff, he sent me this picture.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm going through and I found this picture which might be great for your book. I'm like, yeah. True, like it's a little late in the game, but so I sent it over to two of my publishing contacts, so two people who are like, if you have any questions, we'll get back to you like in 12 hours. I haven't heard from them in days.
Oh,
so I'm like, what the hell? Like this, this photo is just perfect. I took the manuscript where everything would go, and I'm like right here. You don't have to do anything with an end note, and it's already in this landscape format. It would fit really well. So I'm hoping tomorrow, like I get a response because
that'd be nice.
It's a little disheartening to be like, hey, like we're all here for you, and then it's like no one is there.
we're kind of not here. We're here for you. In name,
call the number and stuff like that. But yeah, I got out my my Christmas decorations, and I have these metal deer which are like 20 years old, and so the lights die on them, so I just keep wrapping new lights on, so now they're really heavy, and during the day they look ridiculous.
Oh, like an outdoor ornament. Okay, gotcha.
And these damn things there's always shorts in them, like electrical shorts, so as you're like kind of like putting the new lights on, and if you're touching the metal frame, you're getting shocked as you're doing this. So it's quite an experience, but it looks good. We live at the top of a hill. Some people drive on the bottom, past it. You can kind of look up on the hill and see these deer. They look like they're in a pasture and stuff. But man, I don't know. So, but things have been going okay here. So, got all my firewood stacked, guys, and I guess with the price of natural gas, probably a good thing to load up on the extra coal.
Well, that's what to say. Yeah. No, Doc did a great episode podcast on the zen of stacking wood, which people should listen to, because it's funny
Zen in the art of wood chopping.
Yeah, the zen. What's funny is like I always thought that way on stuff, and it just never occurred to me because I grew up in a family that we cut our own, stacked our own firewood and all that kind of stuff. But like those moments in my childhood were always like meditative or whatever. It was like it was very calm, it wasn't like
you get in the flow state. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So when Doc was talking about it, I was like, wow.
I wish I would have recorded this year, like when I was doing that. And record you doing podcasts, you chopping wood, stopping, and then chop a little bit, then chop, talk some more.
I had to. And we have 2 downvotes on this since I came on, guys. So I'm sorry about that. I don't want to bring all my negative hate crowd over here.
You know what? Downvotes, upvote, they're all. It doesn't matter. I don't care. If somebody's gonna, here's the point. Here's the point: is you actually came here to view for a little bit and then downvoted. So that doesn't say anything about us. It speaks to your character.
Right? What the hell's wrong with people?
Honestly.
So I have a few, I posted a few pictures, right? And it's like going through when you're approaching Petra, right? It's like the Indiana Jones Last Crusade, because I had so much firewood that I had to start stacking in the center of the room, and then create like these 18-inch pathways. So as you would go through, it's just firewood up to the rafters on both sides, and then suddenly it opens up, and it's an amazing effect, actually.
You like those Depression era hoarders that hoarded the newspapers, and there's like these paths to their living room.
So I'm curious because I got my cousin who lives a couple miles away. He's got like 8 cords of wood, but it was all, he had his house built on a property where they chopped all the trees down and just left them. And we've been going through and do all that stuff. Where are you getting all the, if I may ask, where's all the wood coming from?
Yeah, sure. So I have a supplier. So I know when I say that, it's different than when Aaron Clary says I have a supplier. But yeah, so
that's right.
So there's a couple guys and the family's involved, and they supply wood to pizza chains in the Madison, Wisconsin area. So I'm their smallest customer as far as like, 12 to 14 cords of firewood. Like these guys are delivering like, 40 cords of firewood a week. And so it's great because like they have a, full operation. So the firewood is always standard. It's always like clean oak. I mean, just great stuff. And so, yeah, they set me up every year. They haven't changed their prices, like in forever. And it's just really cool. So
that's good.
They deliver it, right? They come in with pickup trucks and trailers, and then they just dump it off in my garage or my driveway. And then I take it all downstairs in a, bag. And it takes me about 3 to 4 days because I spread it out. I used to like just marathon when I was younger. I'd be like, Mountain Dew and everything. And just until it was done. But this time, yeah, I couldn't use the walls because I already had firewood down there. So I had to figure out how I'm going to stack this. And then, I'm interlacing the stack, and I'm testing it too, because if this thing falls over, Christ, like I could be, I don't know how you get out of there. Like, I could be
stuck under a wall of firewood.
Right. And what's funny is with my cousins, he's built like 4 wood shed covers, like we're the traditional stuff. And I'm like, well, how are you going to access this wood? And we finally figured out like, oh, so you do it this way where there's no walls. It's not facing like the fence because, with my, back in my old home, the fire covers were facing the fence line. So you could only access it from one side, as opposed to saying you can access it from both sides. So you can grab wood that's older, that's more cured, and then push the newer wood back and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I can see how it can get a little crazy. Especially the photos you were sending. It was like,
right? Because
it's almost like a library. Like, 1985.
Yeah, I've got to make sure I can look at the company, man. Coming up
energy
here.
prices, reports of I'm assuming you say Cushing, okay, near the lower limit, 20 million barrels, not enough in system to operate. I pray normies, that's stupid. I got call options of the future contracts. Interesting.
Wow. And shout out to the Competent Man who
thank you.
Posted also that he bought my book. So did that in the chat before. So appreciate that. School of Airs. And there's 44 reviews for that. And I was contacted by a couple people who have bought it just in the last few weeks. So that's been great. I'm always like, hey, please leave a review. But yeah, that's been going well. So
thanks for that compliment.
That was a good Doc, I was thinking about something that you wrote in the book about how, when people are describing stuff that they've observed, saying, I observed this.
Right.
Something along that lines.
Right. So that's probably more in the Velocity of Information, the book that's coming out. Is I have a entire section to that, using I observed versus they said. So yeah, the power of that, right? The ownership and the need to authenticate, information. And I interviewed, so many people. I mean, the book is just really, really intense. But it's when you go through it, right? It's going to change the way that you see the world, the way that you interact with the world. I'm actually doing a podcast tomorrow night, episode 159, talking about entropy. And
cool.
One of the things like people, just miss out on is just entropy in systems, right? The way that systems eventually disorder, whether it be like, your car rust, your home repairs, or your body, you start to get out of shape and atrophy and things like that. And So and what that means in chaos. So I talk about also in the book, like recognizing entropy in these stressed systems when it starts to show up and observing for it. But yeah, using I observed, and it's one thing I stressed to my daughters last year during when schools closed and they were getting all these crazy reports of things going on in town and stuff like that. And I was like, well, let's go out and see what's happening. Like we're going to say I observe versus like they said. But yeah, it's there's Bacon just put so guys, I've also been doing this this campaign to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I had a show. This is Bacon can attest to this, and I have the screenshots to prove it. I had a show, a new show that I started, Face Validity Friday. So it's in the morning, 9 a.m. Central Time. And the show had 1,200 viewers concurrently.
Oh, shit.
And 3.5 thousand likes. So it was pretty wild. And
nice.
And so, yeah, it just kind of got threaded into, I guess, the right groups on that day. And the viewers sustained for the 2 hours of the show. I felt like, like Terrence Popp, kind of like when his viewership of up around 1,000 or 1,200. So anyway, I'm up 100 subscribers in the last week. So I'm up to 655 and just really hoping to get to 1,000 before the book comes out in April. So
you'll easily be able to do that.
So Vince, like, it's funny because like there are people who are big YouTubers, right? Like Mike Honcho, 80,000 subs, and some others, and they've been real supportive of my channel, and as you guys have been too. And I'm like, oh, you guys don't know what you're saying because I mean, like, as much as I put into the channel, right, and to get things out there, it's just this crawling. I mean, 150.
No, we're the same way, yeah.
And I'm like 655 subscribers, and they're like, oh God, once we mention you and stuff like that, you'll be up in 1,000 like next week. I'm like, well, I appreciate it, but it is moving in the right direction, and I can kind of see now the momentum.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to build that up, obviously, before the book releases. And I am going to do a book tour. I don't have everything kind of figured out yet, but I'm going to go like Utah. I'd like to get a hold of Rob and stop in and see Rob. Down to New Mexico, Texas, Florida, and then kind of work my way back up. So that's all being developed right now. Now, when I say book tour, right, I mean, it's like stopping in a few libraries or universities or Barnes Noble, like 4 people show up. But yet it is like, it's probably the last book I'll ever write, at least the last book of this magnitude of 471 endnotes and all this stuff. And so I want to make a big thing of it. And so does the publisher. And so, yeah, it's, I don't know. It is. It's gonna be cool.
It's very cool.
Just to have that as a life experience, and to meet some people who genuinely, are interested in the work and stuff like that. They're out there.
Oh yeah. It's just getting your work in front of them, your broadcast in front of them. Absolutely. Very cool.
So yeah.
So look forward to the book release in February.
Appreciate it. So Vince, I saw you've had a few fires. So awesome.
Fires,
right? Like in your fireplace.
Oh, I thought you meant like fires, like in the area. I'm like,
right.
I'm trying to think. Is there any fire in the fireplace? Absolutely. I got the fireplace on almost every day.
Oh man, that's really cool.
It's very rare for an apartment to have a wood burning fireplace.
Right.
It's kind of was a big thing in the 70s. A lot of places that were being built, like apartment complexes being built now, they have the gas fireplace, which is not the same. It's not the same vibe.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's all good. So I appreciate that, and so I've been watching your shows, and
cool.
Appreciate you guys.
So likewise.
I wanted to. So I'm doing something new. So I look over here a lot, right? Because I set up a tripod in my camera, like camcorder. Like, they don't make, it's weird because we went in as a family this week and we updated our phones. My oldest daughter's in high school and she wanted an iPhone, and she had her phone for 3 years and, took care of it, stuff like that. So we're like, sure. She's a good student, good kid. So we updated her phone, and then my wife's phone was like 6 years old, and mine was 3 years old. But I noticed like the battery was just like,
No,
it
not
wasn't
holding the
old on
charge.
charge,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So we went in and we upgraded all the phones. It was so funny because the guy helping us, probably like a 20-year-old, I guess, kid, I would say. He's like, well, if you do this plan, we can save you like $7.33 a month, and all the stuff he's going through. And if you do, I'm like, dude, seriously, like. I get it. Like, I know what you're trying. I appreciate it. Like, appreciate
the upsell. Yeah.
Here's what I need, and I don't want insurance on the phones. And like, if you could just get these set up, like, that'd be great. And but yeah, no, it was good. And we had a vehicle that we ordered in March. It's kind of like one of those things. I'm 50 years old now, and we have two vehicles, and our older vehicle is 14 years old. And is showing its wear, right? And it's mostly my wife's vehicle. So we ordered a new vehicle in March, a custom build, and it arrived. Well, it hasn't arrived. It's close to the dealership. It's in transit per the dealer. It should be there next week. So then we'll pick it up the week after. And I'm not going to identify like the vehicle and stuff, but we ordered it with like a full panoramic sunroof and like heated leather seats and heads up display and like all this kind of cool shit, which will probably nickel and dime and
of course, multiple points of failure.
But the dealer was like, hey, because we ordered it and we paid down and locked in everything. He's like, you could sell this for $15,000 instantly. Like you could drive it home, put it in your driveway, and because like they're not making these anymore, and plus they're not putting the heated seats and steering wheels and the other things with the chip shortage. So we're not going to do that.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it's our first 4-wheel drive vehicle also, and we live in Wisconsin. There are many times when I've kind of wish we had something that was 4-wheel drive. So yeah, it's good. I mean, we keep our stuff for a long time, and I was like, I'm not getting any younger. Kind of cross the threshold, and I'm like, sure, what the hell, let's
What's
do this.
It once you, because I'm 51 and I'm thinking to myself, am I going to keep this one vehicle that I have until the end? Whatever. It's like I have no plans to buy something new, and I just maintain the one that I have. Plus, I've got a new motorcycle, so I have no plans on buying anything new.
Man, yeah, I don't. My vehicle is a Buick LaCrosse, so
nice.
300 horsepower.
What cylinder is that? Is that 8?
No, it's a 6-cylinder.
6, okay.
But so it's 2017. I bought it new, and I have 28,000 miles in it. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, I don't drive much, So
okay.
The most miles is usually vacation or if I'm driving over to the university to instruct. So, but it's fun to have a 300 horsepower paddle shift, car that rides on, 20-inch rims and the thing. It just looks
rolling
ridiculous.
Condominium.
It is. It's huge.
It really is. Like, it's a boat. Fucking lead sled.
I park places and then like I have to get out and repark because I can't judge the distance because the car's so goddamn big. I'm like, so I'll be like 3 feet yet, from the white line. So
you're that guy.
I'm like, God. Thankfully it has, like the back camera and kind of like the radar stuff. But I'm like, it's hard to tell where the vehicle is. Yeah.
You probably put more miles on your bike than you do your vehicle.
I probably do. I mean, especially in some. I mean, there are. I would, outside of vacations and stuff, I mean, it just doesn't get driven. I mean, so yeah, that one, I mean, hopefully nothing happens, like something that would total it out because it'd be almost impossible to find something that would have that size engine and the space. And
you got to hold on to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was fortunate. And it was weird because when I bought it, it was January of 2019, I bought it, but it was a new 2017 that had been then shipped from GM to the dealer. And it just showed up and they're like, we have to get rid of it. Like they had a couple of these left. It's brand new. Do you want it? And they gave me this great deal. Because back then, I mean, it was before all the shortages and stuff like that. So I walked out of there with this incredible deal on this vehicle. And the exact words they told me is GM told us to put this basically shoot this in the head. Like, just get rid of it. That's a
Oh shit.
Then they're like, so here it is. Like, here's the price. And I'm like, yeah, take it. So
Nice.
but yeah. I love having the power. So it's cool.
That is cool. Now you're just waiting on the new vehicle.
Yeah, which I have no idea how the hell. I mean, it's all, what Apple and Android CarPlay. It's got the built-in navigation and all of this shit. Like when we test drove one of these, I'm sitting in it, and my wife's, in the passenger seat, and like 10 minutes later, the guy from the dealership salesman comes out and he's like, "Hey, any questions?" And I'm like, "How do you start this fucking thing? How do you start it?" I don't know how to start it. And
Oh, is it one of those keyless one?
Yeah,
Like
it's
you just like you hit
all
the
this
button
shit.
yeah.
Oh Christ, yeah. And then there's like some
You got the key
code,
fob.
and then there's this other stuff, and then I'm like, how do you, like, I don't understand.
I know that happened to me when I put my car in for maintenance, and they needed to have it overnight, so they gave me a loaner car. I was at the dealership, so they gave me the loaner car and they handed me the keys, and I'm looking like, how the fuck do I start this thing? I had to go back. I had never come across anything like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Because the vehicle is a 2010, and it's a straight up, you insert your key and away you go.
Yeah.
I remember when I had my Dodge Aries back in 1988. It had two keys, one for the ignition and one for the goddamn door lock.
I had the same
Yeah.
thing on my first vehicle. Yeah, and I remember having to rekey the door locks because they wore out. And yeah, so that was so.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things where I don't know. I mean, it's weird to think about this level of technology because, right, the vehicle it replaces doesn't have a rear view camera, anything like that. I mean,
we're living in science fiction. It's amazing to me. It happened so damn fast.
Yeah, it's a strange feeling.
Isn't it weird, especially us growing up in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, who would have thought of a cell phone and a car that would have heads up display and all these other features.
Seriously. They make I was looking at recently for motorcycles, they have it's a hologram heads up display for in your motorcycle helmet that shows up on your windshield, your windscreen.
Right.
That the fighter jets use apparently. Yeah. It's like $800. So like, well, I'm gonna wait till that comes down and I may get one of those. That's kind of cool because then you can see it for GPS purposes. Because when you're on your motorcycle and you haven't mapped it out or you're in unfamiliar territory, maybe you want the GPS. It's difficult to look at a map when you're on a motorcycle unless you've committed something to memory. So having that would be fantastic.
Oh, it sounds great. And
oh yeah.
I was so when we ordered this, I mean, with the heads up display, and I was like, I did a little research. I'm like, so if we have to replace a windshield, it's like $1,500 on this. And he's like, yeah, it is because they layer in a special plastic where the GPS projects. So if you have to replace a windshield, or like it has 3D camera, so it has cameras on top and on the mirrors and on back. So at any time you can completely see around the vehicle. So like if you take off a mirror, it's like a $1,200 cost to have it. But I mean, it's kind of like it's the way it is on most of the stuff today.
That's true.
But I'm like, holy F, like that is that's crazy. But anyway, yes, I don't. It's like a lot of change for me. I'm somebody who likes the Taurus, right? Which I wrote about, kind of the predictability. So to have kind of these changes going on is
not the Taurus car, because I know we just segued from car talk. Yeah,
right. Not a
vehicle.
TORUS, not a other Taurus, but yeah. So
getting out of your bagel.
Getting out of a bagel.
Get out of your bagel, you sons of bitches. That's right,
man. So yeah, I taught 2 university courses this year. So I have 90 miles I drive to campus. It's Saturdays that I teach, and they both wrapped up. And so it's interesting times to teach legal classes because
I'm sure
I'll talk about stuff and then people be like, that's not how it works anymore. Like I'm like, I know. Like it's a different rule of law right now. Like, right. Like freedom of information requests are largely being ignored by school districts or municipalities and stuff. I'm like, if it was operating like it did before, like,
well, there's nothing to enforce it.
There's
they're not enforcing it. That's why.
You're right. And so and so it's weird to have these discussions in class because sometimes students who are like superintendents, like first year, be like, well, our legal counsel told us to do this. And I'm like, oh, because like no one's going to challenge it. And
well, that's it. If you have a Freedom of Information Act and you have a request and like, all right, well, this is going to go in the circular file. It's going to go in the trash can. But if you show up at the place with the request and someone with a gun, it's a different story. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, right. I mean, so the requests largely get ignored, or else the lawyers have just gotten to the point where they'll tell the districts or municipalities, we'll just say it'll cost $17,000 to get this, and then it's usually just a barrier and people stop it. One of my students as a superintendent was sued during class, and get this. So his school district, a parent filed a lawsuit saying that their child got COVID. And they were in this lawsuit. There were many filed in my state, but in this lawsuit, they said the school got it at school, right? So they sued the school board and the superintendent, and it's an ongoing suit. But so anyway, the guy contacts me. He's like, you're going to see this. It's in the news. I'm like, he said, I'm willing to talk about it in class. I'm like, well, yeah, okay. Like, if you want to talk about your experiences of like what, were you separated from your email for a week or something like that, or as they collected data? But I said, I don't want you to say anything that, it's going to end up being evidence or stuff like that. But because it's public. So he was kind of talking about his experience. Everybody else is wide eyes like, holy God, I hope this doesn't happen to me. And I took the lawsuit and then I worked with a couple attorneys and we kind of broke it down. And I'm like, well, this is just kind of a declaratory lawsuit. Like, you're just trying to get your district to change practice and you're trying to pressure the state. It's not like negligence, and it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, it's amazing when people kind of are having stuff happen to them. And then, get this, guys. So I make up these fake case studies, right? And they're completely fabricated. And I made up this one, and like everyone in class is like, I know that district. Like, here's the district, here's the superintendent, here was the buildings and grounds guy. I'm like, this is totally made up. It's like some flood that hit some, district and whatever. And literally it was something I probably like generated like 9 years ago, and I've updated it. And they for sure knew. And they're adding other details in. And then one guy's like, I used to work there when this happened. I'm like, dude, no, it's a story.
That does not help my like,
it's a myth. We'll take you there. And then they like tried to like forcibly put me in a van and drive me to this location and say, here's the river. You're describing it matches. This description's too close.
They put you in a van, put this mask on.
That's
don't
right.
ask me questions.
Fucking unmarked helicopters.
Cross the line, prof.
Mm-hmm.
This is a real one.
That's right.
Like, no, guys, true.
You cross state lines.
With straws.
Straws.
Plastic straws.
Holy smokes! So
we live in interesting times, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Times, kid, though.
What?
Have you ever seen The Revenge of the Pink Panther?
Of course, I've seen The Revenge of the Pink
Panther.
Panther.
Like, these are not normal times, kid. Though this time someone has tried to kill me. That's normal. Only this time they think they have succeeded.
Right. Kita!
Where's that skinny yellow fiend?
Skinny yellow fiend. Yeah, fucking Peter Sellers is amazing.
Oh my gosh. Those films are
you have to watch him in The Party, where he plays an Indian dude at a party. Like, it's just the fucking goofiness, the random bullshit that just happens is hysterical. And then watch him in a serious role. There's a novella by Jerzy Kosinski.
Did he ever do a serious movie?
Yeah, it's called Being There.
Yeah, but Chance Gardner, but
Yeah.
he was playing. It was what's the right word for it? It was a satire because
It's satire. Well, I mean,
a gardener who's describing gardening, and everyone else thinks he's talking about economics.
What I mean is, it's it's subtle satire. It's very, it's almost British in its delivery.
Yes.
But what I mean by serious is compared to the slapstick, almost in your face buffoonery that he did with the Party and the Pink Panther and all those. Yeah. But you are correct. It's very subtle British satire.
Wow. So I don't know, guys. Today I went shopping, and I got everything on my list, which was the first time in a long time, including these freaking A23 batteries for the little remotes to turn the lights on and
Oh
off.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm really setting low hopes on that anybody's going to have these, and like they're in stock. Yeah, they were at the Walmarts. I'm like,
You can find a lot of that stuff at Home Depot.
Yeah. So, and we've got a Home Depot, close by. So yeah, every single thing, like, just I'm like, whoa, like this is all falling into place. But yeah, things are pretty good here. So
okay, good.
I just want to check in with you guys and tell you that weird story about like the two pairs of and again, like, I don't know, maybe I'm old fashioned like Vince and I don't know TJ, but like I feel this need to like make right on this, right? I'm kind of like, I received the goods, right? So like, I'm willing to pay. Like I can take it,
give away to charity.
Yeah, and they're like, no, it's yours. I mean, it's like Kramer and Seinfeld. It's a write-off. Everything's a write-off. It's a write-off, Lauren.
Well, you feel bad because I mean,
the concept is to pay it forward, where you have something good happen to you, and then I've done this, or I've tried to do this in my own life, where somebody, whatever the context is, it's like you do something for somebody else that you don't have to do, but you just go above and beyond. Whether it's you have a restaurant and you give someone an extra tip, or it's you're doing a customer service thing. But yeah, it's kind of that stuff where the best way to deal with it is just to pay it forward to someone else who like
just go ahead and donate them or something.
Yeah.
So before I head out here, so Bacon is asking, what kind of shoes were they? So they were Hoka Bondi 7s, and I never had Hoka before.
Never heard of them.
So Hoka is like a well cushioned running shoe. I had never heard of them before either, but I knew a couple of people that had them, a couple of family members, stuff like that. So like, you got to try these. So I watched a few reviews, right? And honestly, I'm wearing them right now. They are the most comfortable shoes I've ever owned. And they're actually kind of like good shoes for like a 50-year-old guy, like just kind of like walking around, or like these would be good vacation shoes. Like if I'm out,
right. That's cool.
If I was actually running, I don't think they would be that good.
Just don't wear black socks with them.
Yeah, they'd suck up too much of the energy, and you'd be running. But did I tell you guys, like my last bike ride of the year was October 23rd or 24th. It was 74 degrees here. And so you obviously know in Wisconsin, like that's it. Like that's your chance. So I left early in the morning, up biking. And then there's a Civil Conservation Corps dam, built by the CCC, like, in the late 30s. And it's defunct right now, and it's by the Wisconsin River, and it's getting this path I go down and stuff like that. And so there were a couple freezes before that 74. So all of the foliage kind of died down. I could get a better view of this. And I'm like, man, I'd like to really check this dam out. Like I'd like to investigate it. But so I go over there and I'm wearing my biking shoes. So biking shoes have no traction, and plus they're just flat because you want all the energy from your foot to go to the pedal and not to be absorbed. And so I only have my biking shoes, and I'm walking across like this 1 foot wide part of the dam, Yeah, I'm like, God, and
Don't
like
fall.
I'm thinking, holy shit, like I'm not sure I'd be able to make it out of here if I fell like into this structure. But my bike's there, so I'm sure somebody, but so yeah, I mean, and I'm thinking too, like as a safety doc to die investigating, like it wasn't marked property, like you shouldn't be on it. But I'm kind of like obviously it was super dangerous, right? But it was so cool to like see the interworkings of this dam. I didn't take any pictures because I just had to focus on my own like
Right.
where it
Focus
wasn't
on
space.
not dying.
What's funny,
Yeah.
Doc, is you sent out that video. I can't remember what it was, but it was that video on the one of those public work projects, but like the cabins that they built and the state parks that they built in Minnesota.
Right.
Like those guys, one, they were like it was some sort of like civilian conservation corps. Like they were drilled like the military. You got 6 a.m. You were working the whole day. It was like you were not that. It was not a welfare program. Like this whole thing, like we're gonna just give you money to not do anything. No,
Right.
You're gonna work. You're gonna make quality stuff, and you're getting it out. And I was watching the documentary. I was like, wow, like people can say what they want about the New Deal and all this stuff, like, but compared to now, I'm sorry, that's like these guys were no bullshit. They were like, yeah, if you're going to be on the government dole, you're going to perform accordingly, and you're going to deliver a good quality product. And you were showing some of the stuff that they like that is standing here to this day. They did not make bad quality products.
You're right, they didn't, and some of those they would create like bridges and stuff, and they would kind of on the fly, like they would just decide how to build it. Like it wasn't, someone like a 50-year-old guy who was an engineer would be like, okay, here's like what we should do, and they just like so like this dam too like was still in really good shape. It had obviously not been tended to and kept up, but the railings, like as I was going through it, I was like, this is still like really sturdy, and I felt like a sense of awe, but also like a sense of, damn it, like this is really good. And it just is. I understand it doesn't maybe serve a purpose anymore and stuff like that, but I'm glad I went through it. When I got off it, I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, my strategy has to change a little bit, like to get off this dam. I'm going to run as fast as I can, and I think if I can get 3 feet down, if I start to fall, I can like just leap forward and land on the bank. And because I'm like, I'm pretty fast, I think I can pull this off. And so that was my strategy. So I'm like, all right. And I just like ran like hell, like from the center of the dam. And then I got to that narrow part, and yeah, my strategy paid off. Like, I'm like, I just need enough momentum to carry me to the other side. and not be like one of those TV shows where like the big thing comes out and slaps you and knocks you into the water. And there was a farmer watching me. Like he stopped his tractor. He's like, holy Christ, this guy's going to do it. He's like live streaming it out. He's probably got like 40,000 people watching.
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
He's like, this guy's going to do it. He's going to check out the dam. But no, it was cool. And Vince, when you were on my show, and you and I were talking about like urban exploring and stuff like that, and that was one of the coolest things. Like, I explored this pre-Civil War house that's in our town. It's weird because like it's on the 7 acres, so it's all wooded and stuff like that. But I researched it, and who built it and more about their family, and like the person that built it went off and was serving in the Civil War and stuff like that. But I mean, these things are cool. And sometime I think to talk about like solitude, I've gotten more into that, just the value of solitude, right? And people don't understand solitude, and they come at you and they'll say, oh, like, don't you want to bike with other people? Like, they'll say that to me, like, and I'll be like, no, I don't want to, because I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to try to keep pace with somebody. Like, this isn't, well, don't you get lonely when you bike? I said, I've never been lonely when I bike. I said, no.
There's a Zen meditation to biking.
There's a Zen meditation. And I think now, when you hear that, people are reflecting their own sense. They're like, well, if I was out there, I would need people around me, or if I was doing this. So that's really their own, they project,
absolutely,
onto you. And But I'm like, no, hell no. Like, I don't need that. But so anyway, guys, yes, I survived the dam, and you didn't have to read this story about safety expert investigates dangerous dam falls.
We need to get you a GoPro so you have to wear a hands-free recording.
Yeah, I reached for the camera for a second. I'm like, oh, I've got to have all senses on.
You got to go
deck
back
here
and do
for
that
this.
again with a GoPro. Yeah.
Yeah, and still a little water running through it. I'm like, oh, it's just
kind of cool, actually.
It was really cool. Like, I'm totally glad. I'm totally glad I did it. So
yeah, that's awesome.
All right, guys. Well, again, appreciate Masculine Geek. I've been here since the start. Love every show.
Yeah, you've been a friend of Masculine Geek and brother for a long time. So I appreciate you watching and hanging out with us. Thanks.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take care. Have a good one. See you, TJ. See you, Vince.
See you soon. Oh, it's already an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, fuck. You falling asleep there, TJ? I saw you leaning back. You just relaxing?
Yeah, you know what? There we go. All right. This chair.
Lock that chair in, yeah.
Lean back.
There you go. Is that your writing chair or your just kind of hanging out chair?
It's a chair I've had for over a decade.
Oh, okay.
This desk is a little. It came with the house. It's a little weird. It's not wide enough for the chair to, slide into it. Like so I can write. So I don't use it that much.
Gotcha.
But we'll see what happens. But this chair, I've had this for I've probably said 2008, 2001. Okay.
It's got some longevity.
Yeah. I'm probably going to have it for the rest of my life, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That is correct. The cookie crumbles often that way. That's all right. You leave it to your kids.
For the record, you are all seen the war room.
That's right. The Martinell war room out in the secret bunker somewhere.
It's crazy. So I got this from a it's not even a World War II, but it's like a military. It's not antique shop, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to that is on the west side of my state. I moved to the central part of the state, and I'm in the firefighting volunteer stuff. And I run into this guy who dated the girl who was running this store. Nice. Nice. I'm like, can you give me a discount?
Did she?
I haven't bought anything from there for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Marty in sales wants to know if you're tipsy tonight.
Not yet.
It's getting there though. Is anyone having problems with the Karens of the world pestering you to get the shot? Not really.
Are you married to them? Why don't you just say one? Like, why are they even pestering you? I don't know.
You're in Massachusetts, right? Compliment. I think you said. Or are you up in Maine? I don't know any other areas of the Mid-Atlantic that are causing problems. New Jersey isn't too bad.
We'll just say no.
Mind your own business.
Mind your business. That's all. Mind your business. Okay.
You dirty whore. I mean, there's no reason to get rude, but I would just say, mind your own business. Nope. Go away. Absolutely not. Go away.
I got a Geek and Tell.
Oh, right. Cool.
This is a book came with a cover. It's the
it came with a slipcase. Oh, Beowulf in a slipcase. Nice. Where'd you get it?
It was not translated by Seamus Heaney. It was done by another guy. But they did these very Art Deco illustrations.
Oh, nice.
It was William Leonard and this was one of my favorites. This is Beowulf.
Oh, I've never seen that artist before. That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's very Art Deco.
yeah, very Art Deco.
Where did you get it?
I saw some guy on Twitter talking about how cool it was, and I was like, I gotta get this copy. Trying to see. Oh, so this is where he's fighting the demon.
Oh, that's badass, dude. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Grendel
Yeah, Grendel. So you put the book
in the slipcase.
in the case if you can.
Yeah, if you can, if you get books that are from vanity presses that offer the limited editions
by
with
the way.
slipcases, you can make sure you get the slipcase.
You recognize these?
Yeah, I recognize them. You probably got them from me.
I did get them from you, you dirty ego.
And or look, you sleazy fucking wop. You have I still have them here on the desk. In fact, this pile right there, that is yours.
All right.
Like
I mean it.
2 years ago, you fucking picked them out.
This is a great one. I love this one.
That's a great one, yeah.
Yeah. These are
Very
cool.
iconic photo.
Well, it's an iconic photo, but like I love how they're book form and you know, they're just serious. Like they're not anyways.
They're straightforward. There's no PC bullshit. It's fact. It's logic.
Yeah.
There's no personal narrative running through them.
I mean, what's funny is, you know, and I'm sure Rob, if he was here, he'd agree, but like it emphasizes like the stuff that we talk about doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the stuff that they were talking about is totally different from what we're talking about.
Well, contextually, it changes. Obviously, the context of the everyday life. But as far as like the machine workings behind it and the human nature, that's what people don't get. Is the human nature doesn't change. Everyone thinks because we're civilized that we have a handle on this and we can overcome it. No.
Right.
That's where the whole egalitarian equalism just like falls on its face and crumbles like year-old bread in the face of reality. It really does. It's like people, you need to get with the fucking program.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Wow, you dirty whores.
Oh.
So is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up? Coming up on an hour and 18 minutes. I want to keep the Rogue broadcast for really short. Plus, it's Sunday and it's a school night, so I'm tired. Yeah.
But you gotta go to school in the morning?
I gotta go to school in the morning, say. I gotta get up for fucking work. It's a short week, Monday through Wednesday. And I may even have Wednesday off. Maybe a special day they took off. So
I won't keep you.
No, we'll hang out till 10:30. We got 10 more minutes. We can bullshit. James, I sent you an invite like an hour ago. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, he's in Texas now, ain't he?
He's forgotten all about us. He doesn't care.
I know. He moved and is like,
He's like, yeah, fuck these guys. Oh shit. That's school's out this week. Wow. I'm being facetious, obviously, but yeah, school is out this week, which means less retards on the road for my commute. Competent man, no Cappy, nope. He's in his South Dakota redoubt, doing what he does, doing his Cappy stuff out there, whatever that is. We'll probably be out there in the spring. We're going to be doing maybe a village by the Dork. You could always join on your phone, James. Your phone probably have a better connection than your rendering PC anyway. What are people's Thanksgiving plans? That's funny you should ask. I have a new ritual. Since I've been estranged from my family for a long time because they're retards and fairly toxic, it's been over 4 years. I prefer to be alone I don't want to be near anybody. I don't want anyone around me. I do my own thing. I fly solo on Thanksgiving, even if I have one or more of my girls in my life. I don't care about myself. So what I do is get up early, do whatever I want, and I'll head to Wawa for a turkey gobbler, which is turkey, stuffing, and gravy on a toasted hoagie roll. It's fucking heaven. And I'll eat that. So there you go. That's my Thanksgiving. I've gone out to restaurants before for Thanksgiving too. That's cool. But I prefer to fly solo and not have people around me. So I'm a bit misanthropic. And people often ask me, well, aren't you lonely? No. You can be alone and not lonely. In fact, I prefer it. And then you get inevitably you get the, oh, you're gonna die alone, and the like I said before, and I mentioned in the newsletter, I hope I die alone. You motherfuckers around me, you jackasses.
Hero's my hero. Dun, dun, dun. And he jumps off the ledge.
That's right. Fuck people on Thanksgiving. I know it's about people. Hey, if you got an intact family and you generally like them, and you're not being coerced by a ridiculous, hideous wife, then yeah, absolutely. Then enjoy your family, and you should.
Hey, you always have a friend in Jack Daniels.
Exactly.
They will always
and crack and rum.
And they will love you no matter what.
Exactly. I've got my girls, I've got my cat, I've got my books, I've got my writing, I've got my fireplace. I'm set. I move about the world as I want. And on Thanksgiving, I will get peace and quiet. In the morning with my coffee.
Now, Vince,
look at this sad son of a bitch popping in 5 minutes before we're ready.
I figured I'd say hi.
No, it's good to see you, you fucking Texan. So, what were you going to ask me?
I was going to say, do you have any like Christmas traditions that go around Thanksgiving? I'm just curious.
Do I have any Christmas traditions that what?
So, for my family, it was Thanksgiving. The next day, we got our Christmas tree. That same day or the day after.
I grew up. I see. I understand what you're saying. As far as Christmas is concerned, we grew up with Christmas being a very magical time, and I think it was magical because there was a very short window in which to enjoy it. Like I know a lot of other kids, a lot of people in the neighborhood, they would put their tree up right after Thanksgiving. We would, if it was a real tree, we would buy it on the 23rd and just have it sit there bare for one day and then decorate it on the 24th. Likewise with an artificial tree, the 23rd, and there would be a bunch of pageantry surrounding decorating the tree. Lots of candles in the house, Christmas music playing, going up into the sort of attic area under the roof of our house where we had the Christmas decorations stored, and we'd bring them down. It was a cool thing. So I do my best to recreate that. However, I want to enjoy it a little bit more, so I will set up. In fact, I just ordered a new fake Christmas tree, and I ordered the wrong size. That's what she said. I ordered the wrong size, and it's a 6-foot tree rather than the 4-foot tree I had in mind. So I think to myself, why is this so fucking expensive? Oh, that's right, I ordered the wrong one. Okay, that's fine. So that arrived a few days ago. That'll sit in the box until December 1st, and probably the first weekend in December, I will set up the tree. And that's been my own ritual now, is in December. So I enjoy the tree for the month of December. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I had the fireplace going.
Yeah, my family had they haven't adhered to it for quite some time, but like we had a pretty specific tradition of like Thanksgiving. The next day we went and got our tree. The next day we decorated the tree, and we also did all the Christmas stuff.
So you did it early.
My family, yeah, we're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving early this year, which gives me an opportunity to like get the tree and all that other stuff which was I guess good because last year everybody was getting their trees in like early November. It was crazy. Really? Oh yeah, in my area, Christmas
Is
tree
the fucking
farms,
tree going to be dead by the time the Christmas rolls around? It's like, I mean, I get you can water it and you can give it some vitamins, but
yeah, no joke. Christmas tree farms closed the day at like the Thanksgiving weekend. They were like, everyone's gotten every tree everywhere,
holy shit,
like in the entire state.
Jesus,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I'll throw up during the course of the year. I have white lights up out on my balcony for evenings. I'll take those down. In fact, probably take them down Thanksgiving and throw up the colored Christmas lights. But yeah, Christmas is my favorite time of year. Now, I do enjoy it. In fact, with the exception of the cold, and I can't ride my motorcycle.
Yes.
I shouldn't say that. I do still ride. It's just a pain in the ass because you have to bundle up and you look like a fucking mummy. You look like a homeless person riding your motorcycle.
Especially when it gets sunny.
Exactly.
So the benefits of living down here, man, it was like 70 degrees the other day. It's going to be
shut the fuck up.
Even 50 for the whole year. So.
Well, do you have? Is the motorcycle shipped to you yet?
Nope.
God damn it! Let's say the word. I'll head down there with a troop of my buddies.
Yay!
I'm tempted to take you up on that at this point, and not to normally I'm insulting Mama Streissand, but she actually did pull through for me with this whole computer ordeal. I think mostly because we much appreciated. Hell of a fucking Christmas gift.
Yeah, right.
Help me with that. I think it's partially because I was telling my buddy Jake about this. It's like, well, somebody else came after us. Somebody from outside the family came after me.
Yeah, so
that's her job.
She's gonna mother hen it. Yeah,
exactly. It's they can't resist that instinct. I think at certain ages. So I'm not complaining.
You should try to make everything someone else's fault. So she's like,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You see, the reason you're feeling this way is actually somebody hit you over the head yesterday.
There you go. And somebody else. It's like someone else's fault. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that's funny. So how's Texas?
It's fun. We're getting ready for. I'm going to be mostly alone for Thanksgiving. It looks like.
Oh yeah.
My buddy, my roommate's heading back out to New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I might hang out with the girl. I don't know. But
we could always do a rogue broadcast if you're around. Let me know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just we ordered the computer parts a few like an hour ago. My buddy Jake's he's hit me up to figure out how to do NFTs and stuff like that to see if we could get him some, see if I could upload more.
Cool.
Maybe get some money that way. I'm doing a Kickstarter, getting ready to do a Kickstarter on Tuesday. It's sort of
nice.
Sort of business as usual here. It's just I'm getting a lot more sleep and yeah.
It's a lot quieter.
Yeah, it's a lot quieter.
Cool.
It's a lot quieter, and I have a girlfriend. That's most of what's changed, and I like the weather out here. Got a bunch of industrial lighting coming in. We went to IKEA the other day.
Yeah,
I think it was the IKEA in Frisco. Yeah,
okay.
Dude, I gotta post some of the things I saw at IKEA because it's like for some reason I had this idea. This is why you don't listen to retards online. I had this idea that IKEA was a sterile, horrific place that was filled with white walls, like the one behind me, which I find utterly, completely disgusting, and I can't tolerate them. But
the only bad thing about IKEA is the maze trying to navigate. That's about it.
Exactly. It's after you get that nice workout from going there. We had they have a restaurant inside. For, once you tired yourself out.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're going around there. There's all these. I snapped so many pictures of price tags and shit like that. I'm gonna get a loft bed so I could have more room in here.
Yep.
And
Loft beds are
there's
awesome.
Industrial everything I want for the particular style to make this room really feel like home. There's a bunch of plants I'm gonna get. There's so much style and personality in there, which I did not think of IKEA potentially having because I just thought it was all the sterile shit that I usually make fun of.
Oh yeah,
But lo and behold,
that's cool. There's a company, I'll have to send you the link to it, and I can't recall it offhand, but they make steel loft beds at varying heights. You can custom design them. They're so fucking cool because you could basically have this 10-foot loft bed, which is great to fuck your girl in, and then underneath you could have all your, your computer set up and your little library and with this cool lighting and shit. It's
you have a desk up there.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, if you fuck her in a loft bed, are you worried at all about like smacking her head on the seat? Really?
No, it depends on the size of the you get the loft bed, these custom loft beds based on the size of your ceiling.
Right.
The place I was thinking of moving in has 20-foot ceilings.
Oh, okay.
So I could get a 10-foot loft bed and I'm fine.
Because I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, that's not a lot of the
no, if you've got like a loft
and she's
bed
tall, so I have to worry about that. I'm not.
Well,
I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. You're good. Yeah. Bacon. You want to read that, James?
Let's see here. Goddamn Bacon says, you guys ever get Rur back on? It'll be MG broadcast in all 4 time zones.
Yeah.
I think Rurb is in the same time zone as.
He's in Central.
Yeah, I'm in Central as well.
I think Central. I'm on these.
I thought there was only 3 U.S. time zones. Am I wrong about that? Continental. Continental.
There's 4, yeah, which is Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to scream
Rob,
somebody.
late to the party.
Yeah,
How was the pub?
It was fine. It was a late dinner today. I is my long day at work, and I worked probably around 13 hours. So and then so I grabbed late dinner with a couple buddies of mine.
Okay.
And they actually had some stuff for me. A couple of new Japanese garage kits from a Japanese series, Gatchaman.
Oh yeah.
Better known as Battle Beyond the Planets or G-Force over here.
Yeah, fucking Kiop and shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the actual Gatchaman's a lot better, more intense, a lot more mature. But
anything that comes from the origin country is always more intense.
Yeah, that's usually true. Although sometimes it can be more ridiculous as well. It just all depends. But I mean, this is very much old school stuff from the 1970s. Although these kits are probably not quite that old. But yeah, they were at Wonderfest and picked those up for me. So along with some other stuff. So real cool guys.
That's cool. That's pretty badass.
What is it? MG always stresses having friends in real life, away from the computer, hanging out, having drinks, and spending time together.
Yep.
So,
absolutely, that's paramount.
Yeah. So, gotta walk the walk when you talk the talk. So,
correct. Yes, indeed. That's why we do the Masculine Geek meetups. That's why we have the Masculine Geek Village by the Seas, Village by the Lakes, all the Village by the Dork in the spring, hopefully with Aaron Clary.
Well, what's it going to be? Village by the Still down with Nick, or what's
with Nick? We're not sure yet. There's a bunch of things in the works on the back end that we're not discussing yet because we haven't finalized. But yeah, we were going to do Village by the Bayou in New Orleans, but everything was fucking booked. I was thinking about getting the Italy trip up and running again for the spring. However, Europe seems to be going full retard and going back into lockdown for no logical reason whatsoever. So I don't want us to get stuck out there. Even Italy.
I'm telling you, man, Portugal. Portugal. I want to see my girls. I want to see Sarah and G. Often not Sintra. We could go to Sintra though.
Yeah, Portugal seems to be apart from all that. A buddy of mine is he's retiring early and moving he and his family out to Portugal permanently. He's actually doing reconnaissance. I think he's buying a house and doing reconnaissance next month. So, which is good for me. So, if that's where I want to retire, because it's insanely cheap out there on a with a U.S. retirement plan. So,
Oh damn! It seriously is.
yeah, we could. I mean, as long as you're not in the major cities, it's still gonna be not as expensive, but it'll be more expensive than if you're in the more rural, smaller towns.
Even then, the beautiful places that you can live and work in and just have a beautiful life in.
You could buy a small
absolutely
farm
ridiculous.
for what you would pay for a rancher in South Jersey. You know,
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic.
which reminds me, there's some Portuguese wine that I'm gonna have to recommend to you because it's been recommended to me, and I might not get to it before you do.
All right,
And if that's exactly, let me find it.
Well, if you can't get it, let me know. I'll ship it to you.
I'm tempted, dude. The fact that there is beer and wine in all of the convenience stores has been very difficult to get used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Very convenient.
That's like almost every state but New Jersey.
New Jersey. It's probably us and what, like Utah?
Utah, yeah. No, actually, wait a minute. We were in a TJ.
Utah only has dry counties.
Yeah, TJ. When we were out to see Rob, we were in a convenience store with a gas station. Wasn't there a? Or was that Kansas when we were out in Kansas?
Yeah, it was Kansas. Yeah,
I could have sworn we were at a 7-Eleven to get coffee that one morning, and there was a couple coolers of beer.
I can't remember. I haven't been to Utah since about 1993. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, your memory's fuzzy. No, we were there last year.
No, we were here this year.
Last October. This October we were at Village by the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Last October was Utah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Fall City, or not?
No, Kansas was in
Kansas
May.
City.
Kansas was in May. Yeah.
So TJ, what can be shipped to you?
Nothing.
Well, not directly.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can't have cigars shipped to you.
Cow corn. Washington State was probably like proud. They'll pay for the shipping. Bunch of
freakazoids. Yeah.
I would get off on something, but like, yeah, if it's tobacco or cigars or whatever, it can't be shipped directly, but you can ship it to someone else who then not an official shipper, but like somebody buys it for me and then ships it to me, because apparently that's just kids. The idea of kids of smoking tobacco is too much, but they can go look at like the most degenerate shit online, and that's just fine.
Right.
Bunch of
you dirty whores.
Well, they don't even have to go online. Can't they just go to downtown Portland?
Probably.
Or
Yeah, I struggle to just not say anything anymore.
Yeah.
I could say so much, but it's just like, yeah, it's just breeze in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's just how it is for me personally. Yeah, I can't order tobacco directly.
But if I bought a box of Cubans, I could just ship them to you as a gift, right?
Yes.
Is that
correct?
Theoretically,
yeah. The postal service is not going to go through your mail.
Okay.
Not yet, anyway.
UPS, on the other hand.
Yeah, UPS, on the other hand, is going to break your fucking shit, open up your packages, and then repackages it and then send it on its way.
Yeah.
And send it on its merry way.
Fucking cocks.
I can't wait to take some kneecaps.
That's right.
I'm so glad I'm getting most of my stuff through DHL now.
That's probably one of the safest. FedEx.
I'll tell you what, my buddy from Australia shipped me something from DHL, and it arrived just fine.
Yep.
And pretty quickly.
They've got they have good customer service, and they're pretty
for something that was coming from Australia pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I get stuff from Japan fairly regularly, and it's only a couple of days, so that's
real. Oh, hot damn!
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
Yeah,
nice.
We need to get them to sponsor us.
Yeah, right. DHL sponsors Masculine Geek. All right, everyone. I'm calling it because I'm tired. So anyway, all right. Let's do and TJ's tired too. Is he on? So let's do some housekeeping. TJ, where can everyone find you?
Online. TJMartinell.com.
God damn. Robert, where can everyone find you?
Robert Kuzlin on Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and obviously hanging with the Masculine Geeks.
Well, you're a Masculine Geek now, officially.
Now, I know. I'm proud to be a newest member. That's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. James, last but not least, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Business AOC on Twitter.com.
Oh,
you can find me in my Discord server, provided you're not being a retard.
Well, there's no hope for that.
Very little.
But anyway, yeah, very little hope. But people in the chat are not. There's only a few retards that come through that are not usual members that I already had to block one of them. Fucking dorks. Anyway, you can find me on masculinegeek.life, but you have to sign up and become a member for that. So I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, all right, that's it for this Sunday MG Rogue broadcast. Wednesday, we're hanging out for a little bit with Sterling Cooper, talking about Dirty Talk 101. So TJ, you're going to want to hold your ears for this one if you join us.
His state may not allow him to listen.
It's probably true. He'll get the government will come in and shut him down for the day. So that should be an interesting talk. We had Sterling Cooper on Masculine Geek Life in the private Fortress Zoom meetings last year, and that was a good talk because the Zoom meetings are private, they're unrecorded, and we talk about anything and everything. It's no holds barred, so you can the proverbial letting down of the hair, as it were. You don't have to worry about any kind of censorship, no one getting their panties in a wad, and you can talk about stuff you wouldn't normally talk about in public. So there you go. Anyway, we'll have him on. And then, and like James said, he's not doing anything for Thanksgiving. I have a different format for my own Thanksgiving where I roll solo. So we may have a rogue broadcast on Thanksgiving. We'll see. We're going to play it by ear. So anyway, everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. Everyone who watches later, thank you for joining us as well. And until next time, TJ, take us out.
All right, guys, keep the wine flowing, keep the fires burning, keep the lead shooting down range at convicted pedophiles like Kid.
Jesus Christ.
Kid, don't take any wood nickels. And don't drink all the rum, Aaron.
Dirty horse.